11.
What up, Nabu Podcast? What's going on? It's your boy JB with Lester and Bando. They're going to break down the Packers and Green Bay Packers and the New York Giants game for tonight. What's up, fellas?
What's going on,
What's
JB?
good?
Not much, man. What you guys got in store for us today, man? I know we got a good game coming on tonight. Not tonight, but wait a minute. What's today? Today's not Thursday. No, it's this weekend, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
Sunday at noon.
Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Fire. Why don't you guys break this down for us, okay?
Uh,
Yep. So I want to start out with kind of just pointing out where my main concerns with this week are and what I'm hoping to see. I do believe that Green Bay will win this game. I am nervous about the offensive line depth for Green Bay, with Jenkins going down possibly for the remainder of the season. It definitely leaves a very big hole in the middle of the line. So I'm hoping that we don't have to do too much shifting with guys to where guys like Burns or Dexter end up having big games and being disruptive. I would definitely like to see Green Bay be a little more creative in terms of their play calling to get some of these receivers in space a little bit more, and love to just be more consistent on getting rid of the ball just a little bit quicker. So that way we're not constantly putting him under pressure in the pocket and him having to force things or try to make things happen that he shouldn't need to do.
yeah. Um, my main concern with my New York Football Giants is the offensive line. Now that we don't have Jackson Dart as a starting quarterback, we have Jameis Winston, and we have interim head coach Mike Kafka. We have a new OC named Tim Kelly, and Shane Bowen as a DC. His defensive play calling is just bad. It's horrible. We've allowed what 1,000 and something yards, and the run defense. We can't stop a run for nothing, like at all. We always allow a 4 yard run, 5 yard run, or a 7 yard run every time. And with Jameis Winston as our quarterback now, I really don't know how he's gonna play because he hasn't seen the field since preseason.
So do
And my
you,
my thing is with him is he throws too many turnovers. Like his time in with the Bucks. He had 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions.
and yeah, that's one thing about Jameis is he's gonna let it fly, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm hoping. This is one of those weeks where Green Bay's defense can finally create a couple turnovers if they can, and put a little bit less of a burden on the offense to have to be as precise on the early downs in the games, where you can be a little more aggressive and take a few more chances. Um, do you have any expectations on what Kafka is going to bring in terms of his touch on play calling?
I honestly don't know because he's a his play calling is just it's a hit and miss. He hits on some plays with his play calling and he misses on some of his play calls. So he's a very inconsistent play caller. But he did make a great decision with taking out Russ as a starting quarterback and putting in Jameis because Russ, the first 4 games of the season was fucking horrible. Horrible. It was horrible. He had one good game with the Cowgirls, and anybody could throw 300 yards against our defense. Anybody. Mariota could do that shit. But with Kafka, I really don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I think we're gonna lose this game.
I
Like I
I
don't
really
have high
think
hopes for our
that,
team.
and I think from the Giants standpoint, like me, if I was an opposing team going up against Green Bay right now, I mean, there are some young pieces like Abdul. I mean, you could bring
Abdul,
him on
Drew
certain packages.
Phillips.
Could you see the Giants possibly being a little more aggressive in terms of rushing more up the middle, seeing that is going to be a spot that's going to get tested with Jenkins being out?
Um, I really don't know because this team has been all over the place this season. It's constantly every year we get these pieces and we don't know how to use them. But this year we had picked up Dart in the draft, picked up Scat. They're hurt, and the defense is. I have no words for it. Like it's just bad. Can't stop the run. You can't do nothing. Even if we have a good drive, we still find a way to mess up that drive, especially on defense. We get a we get a third and long. The other opposing team always finds a way to get a first down. Like we have to get the three and out. We have to do that. And they're scared to tackle. They're scared to tackle. Like for example, Abdul Carter against the game against the Chiefs. He clearly he had a sack against Mahomes. He was scared to touch him.
And yeah, that's how I've kind of felt with some of Green Bay's schemes as well. It's like, especially with guys like Hobbs out there, they spent the money on him. They let Jair go, and I mean that's panned out at least on that end. But I've really loved Valentine being out there in Hobbs's place. Like he does bring a swagger to that cornerback room, kind of like how Jair did, and his coverage skills aren't bad. I really would like to see Green Bay turn things up a notch. I know going out and getting a guy like Micah is so that way you can get quarterback pressure with just four guys. But I still feel like with having a guy like him and Gary, opposite, I really think using some of these corners in other ways, whether it's in blitzes or being a little more creative in how you scheme, that's something I would like to see because I've gotten to a point with Green Bay's offense. I'm just holding out hope that it's going to get figured out. So at this point, it's just I want to see the defense also be that much more aggressive, especially when you got that much talent up on the defensive line between the two edge rushers. You got a guy like Devontae Wyatt, who's been an absolute dog in the middle of the defensive line, which kind of, was shown why they were okay with letting a guy like Kenny Clark go. Um, these are the kind of games I get nervous for. I mean, we look at Carolina, we look at Cleveland, and I mean, the Eagles are a much better team than those two, but coming out flat is something that's starting to become a habit, and it's something that cannot continue to be a habit.
Hmm.
Because if Green Bay was to make the playoffs, I mean, there's no guarantee now at this point. You come out flat in a playoff game, you're going to get boat raced, and it's going to be over before halftime.
No, yeah. Um, my thing is, I believe y'all will come out on top this game because my thing is four straight games up 10 plus and straight fumbled the game. These last four games with us, we have been up. We've been up, and this Giants team is just oh my god. It's like they can't figure it out. Like they can't figure it out.
And I like to think that maybe they wouldn't be a playoff team, but I mean the Giants do have some very good core pieces for the future set between Scat, you got Dart, Neighbors when
Leave.
he comes back,
Yeah.
and I mean the pieces are there, and I mean I don't know how well Kafka is within the organization if this is something that they're bringing him in to audition or if this is if he's just the get me by guy. But like I've said, is you get these new coaches that they come in the middle of the season and teams play better than expected. Like even if a couple of years ago, the DeVito Legend game, against Green Bay, Jordan Love got the score, but DeVito was, on he found a way, and
Yeah.
they were doing things that they hadn't been doing the first half of the season, and then that's another part that makes me a little nervous is there's going to be a different kind of chip on these guys' shoulder. It's not your typical just week 11 game. Once your coach gets fired, some of these other players that have they're tweening on the edge of being done at the end of the season, or maybe getting another contract, they're going to start playing a little bit more, a little more loose, a little more free. And like I've always said, if you're on an NFL roster, you're a damn good player. You may not be great, but you're good enough, and that's all
Yeah.
it takes.
Oh yeah. Um.
And as far as I know, as of right now, um, Golden's probably going to be out again this game. I know Lucas Van Ness is still recovering. I'm not even sure what's going on with him anymore. It was supposed to be a 2 week, 3 week kind of thing, and it's been 4 or 5 weeks now. So whatever
Yeah.
he's got going on, it might be more severe than what they let on. But I know getting a guy like him back, that adds a little more depth to that defense as well. And I think that's kind of started to show at times. But here lately, I think when I have watched the Giants, I mean they got a lot of youth at some really key spots, and that's why I think things have been all over the place. These guys are coming in first season, second season, they're already maybe in their second system, so to say, and I
Yeah.
think they need some sort of consistency.
Nah. Yeah. And my thing is with the New York Giants is that this is what like our we just keep firing the coach, this and that. But if we're being honest, I feel like Joe Shane should have went because his draftees is just hit a miss. What Evan Neal was a miss. Jim Hyatt a miss. The center we drafted, John Schuster, I believe, a miss. And we're dealing with injuries on both sides of the ball with Adebo's out. Javon Holland is out. Micah McFadden is out. Keen is out. Jackson is out. Leak is out. Like this team is just all over the place, man. Like I really like it's stressful being a Giants fan. It's very stressful. But it's gonna be a good game for y'all. I don't expect much from my Giants. I really don't. It's not a game for us to win.
Yeah,
Cause
I
what
mean,
at the end of the
even
season we're gonna
with
get like a
yeah,
fifth pick, third pick. We're gonna get a
and
top
I
five
mean,
pick.
even if the Giants do get like another top five, top 10 pick, I think there's enough there now where it's like you have the quarterback, you have the running back, you got a receiver. You can really kind of pick and choose what you really want to go and get at that point. And you could, if you're picking within that for even just the first half of the first round, you can get guys that can come in right away.
Nah,
I
yeah.
and me, I'm just I know he's not wide receiver one, but I do think getting Jaden Reed back in the next couple weeks is going to be huge. Like he may not be that big bodied receiver, but he's one of the guys that he can go into any position in that route tree, outside, inside, out of the backfield, wherever you line him up. He can do it all. And I think Savion Williams as a rookie has shown like he's got some flashes, but you can just tell that there's certain things that he hasn't learned how to kind of adjust his game to. Whether it's when you're running doing an end around, cut a little bit quicker before as you go upfield instead of drawing everything way out. And because the last thing that you want to do at any point, is get behind the chains where you're second and 12 now, second and 13, because now you're becoming even more predictable. And I mean, when you got to be more precise or you got to be more perfect, is that's when mistakes happen.
Yeah.
And like that was the big third down, I believe, is what it was at Lambeau the other night. And Jordan Love pressured because he didn't get rid of the ball. And next thing he's trying to get rid of it last second, and boom, fumble. Like if he can
Yeah.
avoid turning the ball over, I will say I'll feel more comfortable about Green Bay winning this game. But like I've said, it's been one of those years where I don't feel comfortable predicting them to go out and beat anybody at this point. Like I expect them to win, but I also would not be shocked if they lose.
No, yeah, back to when you said the predictable, like that game against Philly, when they knew y'all was gonna run, they was inside zone middle. They knew a play y'all was running. Y'all have to be versatile with the play calling.
Like what? Yeah, and that's like I've been saying since then is like I get, he and I've always said this about Jordan is he's a very humble kid. He's very humble. He's not very, you know,
Doesn't trash talk, doesn't do any of that.
he's not one of those rah rah kind of guys. Like you had Favre, you had Rodgers that were kind of like that, and I feel like it's kind of time for him to step up and kind of be more of a voice on the field instead of just in a locker room setting, because it's like anytime you look at all these all time great quarterbacks, anytime a receiver ran the wrong route or the offensive line was lined up wrong in some way, these quarterbacks let them know. And I think Love's got to take that step. He's got to get these guys somewhat figured out and being like, hey, you need to be here at this point. Like, you need to be here 4 seconds into your route. This is where you need to be. Because the big thing about a great offense is the timing of everything. Like,
Yes.
if your receiver is 4 yards away from where he should be, now we have problems because your quarterback expects you to be there. The ball is going to be there, but the defender may be the only guy there. And I'm not going to say that the play calling is what's causing Green Bay's problem. Like I've been saying this the last month. Jordan Love has shown flashes, but the biggest thing holding him back is learning to just 1, 2, 3 balls out, boom.
He
And
stays, he stays, he holds the ball for too long.
I think he's fallen. They like. I mean, anytime you're an offensive guy, you're gonna fall in love with the big play.
Yeah.
And I think he's just got to learn that if a defense is only going to give you 5 or 6 yards, you take that 5 or 6 yards. If that means that that's what you got to do to get down the field, have a 12, 13, 14 play drive. Take
Yeah.
7 or 8 minutes off the clock, because the more that you start to wear a defense down, that's when you see good teams. Like even a few years ago with like Kansas City, when current I think it was Edwards Alaire, and I forgot who else they had in that backfield. But come the end of the game, they became unpredictable on offense because the defense was worn down, and you have a guy
Mm-hmm.
like Mahomes, so you can pass, you can run, and I think right now we're in a because Jacobs has not been the same as he was last year,
Yeah, he
but
hasn't.
we're not really strong in either facet right now of yep, we can go out and get 10 yards in 3 plays and really run this clock down. It's like we're either all or nothing. It's feast or famine right now on offense. I like where the defense is at. I think it can still be better. But like I said, this is a week where I would really hope they could get right. But I got to see it. I got to see consistency, and I just to me the Giants have always given us fits, always.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially in the playoffs.
The playoffs and any time we've come to New York, it's always been a good game. Like you think back to the old, like this is well before both of our times, but back in the 50s and 60s, it was Giants Packers almost every year for the championship. Then between them two
Yeah.
and the Bears. So
Yeah.
like this is kind of an older school type of rivalry, but it's there was a long drought where there was really nothing, and now it's like you start back with the days of Favre taking the sack against Strahan, and then the two playoff games in Lambeau where Eli beat Favre and Rodgers. But like I want to confidently pick Green Bay. I just it's going to be hard.
Um, I believe Green Bay is gonna win this game because we are a inconsistent team. My Giants are very, very, very inconsistent, and it just has to stop. It has to stop. It's been like this for years. You gotta lock in. Like even though everybody is injured this year, next year we're probably gonna be a playoff team. I don't know, but this year, nothing is in our favor. We're not gonna do nothing this year. Like the flashes of Jackson Dart, I enjoyed it. He's hurt with a concussion. Jameis Winston as our quarterback. I don't know.
I think I think Winston's going to bring good leadership at least,
Yeah, yeah,
and
and
while it's and he like he's always got that cheesy smile, and it's like,
brings the energy.
and he's going to bring confidence when he comes out there to play. That's the thing. It's like whether when he was in like Tampa throwing 30 for 30, so to say, there was still the same confidence. He didn't stop doing what he does,
Yeah,
and I think that's one thing that the Giants have also got. They've got to do as well is, even if something's not working, don't necessarily go away from everything so fast,
hmm
because
that's our
like you
problem.
said with
That's been our problem. That's been our problem.
and like you said with the injuries, it's kind of hard to scheme whether it's on offense or defense, because guys that are normally there aren't, and the guys that have taken that spot just aren't the same player.
Yeah,
And that's
like
why I've
for
always said,
example,
like, injuries are
um,
injuries, but when you go from a star talent to somebody that was, on the practice squad, there is a drop off in terms of production that you're gonna get, and that's why I think having having the youth that you do, starting at quarterback, running back, when they've been healthy, it's why it's still so much drastic after that, is because now your quarterback now becomes older, not as mobile, not as much of a threat,
hmm
and you become a little more predictable, so to say, as to what you're going to be doing in certain packages. Where you have a guy like Dart, he can line up, they can line up anyway, and he can just take off, and
yeah,
and that's one thing I'm kind of relieved about. I mean, I don't want to see nobody get 4 or 5 concussions in a season, but like I said,
he has had four this season. Four.
which I didn't even know that until this past week.
He's had four. Like Dart. Like I understand. Like you was doing that in college. But it's not NFL, bro. It's a whole different game. It's a whole different ball game. It's not NFL. You're playing against grown ass men. You're not playing against kids no more. Playing against grown men. You have to learn how to slide. You have to slide. You see somebody coming at you, you're running the ball, running with the ball. You see somebody coming at you, slide. So you don't take those crazy hits. And you don't have be in concussion protocol. And then you have Brian Dable, who was like, oh, when Jackson Dart went down last week, he's like, oh, when am I gonna get my quarterback back? Like, you don't care about your player safety. You don't.
And that's
And you
yeah.
create a toxic environment.
Yep, and that's the same thing that's kind of happened with Burrow. If you sit and think about it, is
No, yeah,
he's
he's going through the same thing.
he's never been really forced into learning how to slide properly. And I mean, granted, some of the hits he's taken haven't been from slides, but guys like him, Stroud, these guys are there.
Tua as well.
There's a
Tua
lot
as
of
well. What's with
talent.
Tua?
Oh, Tua, absolutely. Like the big thing is, if you find a guy that can take your franchise to the next step, you got, not only do you have to keep yourself accountable, but you got to make sure that the players held accountable. Like, I know when, and a lot of people don't know this, but when Rodgers, his first year, took a lot of sacks just because he was holding on to the ball too long. So they retweaked his contract where he could get a bonus if he took a certain amount of sacks fewer than what he did the previous year. And that's why you've seen a lot of times where Rodgers, if there was nothing to scramble to, he got rid of the ball,
Yeah, he threw
like
it out. He threw it out.
threw it out of play. You don't have to force the ball into triple coverage like
You
Jordan Love has
don't.
tried doing. You get rid of the ball.
Like the
And
thing with Jordan, he wants to make a big play. But also you have to play smart football. If you see the play is not there, throw the ball out. Or just get a 3 yard, 4 yard run and slide.
and that's really what I would like to see start to get cleaned up a little bit this week. I get, last week it was trying to make something happen,
Mhm.
especially late in the game. You're trying to come from behind, but there were still a handful of throws where it's just like, dude, it's only first down, it's only second down. You don't need to force that ball 40 yards
Yeah.
downfield.
You gotta be patient. You have to be patient.
So do you think you can get a score prediction in mind?
My score prediction is probably gonna be Green Bay. I would say 21, or they're probably gonna get 24 to probably 10. 24-10 Packers.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was leaning towards, was like 20 21 10 Green Bay. Because I still think with everybody that's out, I mean, as long as they don't allow Jameis to go off and have like a vintage Jameis game, I
It's,
think Green Bay's defense is more than capable of handling the Giants' offense. It's just how long is Green Bay's offense going to keep their defense off the field?
yeah. And my problem is the offensive our offensive line. Probably the only person that's really doing their job on our offensive line is AT, Andrew Thomas. All of these other guys is just they look oblivious on the field, like there were no headlights. And I don't know, Jameis might have might ball out, he might not. I the way how this season has turned out for us, it's just been like I don't know. Honestly, this team has been playing bad, like horrible with these injuries, and then you have Jackson Dart, who's literally a one-man army making plays with no help. His only good receiver is Wandale Robinson, who's what 5'8", 5'9". Then you have Darius Slayton, who drops easy passes and fumbles it.
Yeah, I think it'll be a decent adjustment period for Kafka coming in.
Mhm.
I feel like right now Green Bay's trending in the wrong direction, and this is kind of the week where they don't have a choice but to start changing that,
Yeah,
because
gotta make adjustments.
the way Detroit and Chicago are going right now, Green Bay still got to play, I think, 5 division games. So it's important to start getting some of these wins, even though they're not division games, but they're conference games,
Mm-hmm.
because that is going to become very important in terms of seeding if you do get into the playoffs.
No, yeah.
And if you get a chance, to win a division and get a home playoff game, anything can happen from there.
No, yeah. Especially if they make the playoffs and get a home game at Lambeau.
All right. Do you have anything else that you wanted to add?
Not really. Just good game.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, bro. Even though y'all gonna whoop our ass,
I don't think it'll be that bad.
it'll be bad. I know my team.
All right. Well, this is the Not Move podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see
Yeah.
you on the next one.
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.